All right, so in this video, we're going to be adding some whole numbers, and we're also going to be adding some decimals. So notice in the two examples here, the first example here has whole numbers only. And then the second example here has some decimals. So a couple things you need to make sure that you're doing when you're solving for decimals is you want to make sure that you write them vertically. It is easier to add and subtract numbers when they're written vertically. You want to make sure the decimals are lined up. And you also want to rename the decimals by adding zeros when necessary. Now this is really necessary when you're subtracting, not as necessary when you are adding. And then we want to bring down the decimal when we're done. So let's go ahead and get started. So I want to look at something that we know real well, and that's just adding whole numbers. So when we add whole numbers, we would say 9 plus 4 is 13. And we're going to carry the 10, which is the number 1, over to the tens place. Then we're going to add 60 plus 80. So 60 plus 80 is 14, or 140, plus 1 would be 15, or we would say 150. So our 5 is going to go here. We're going to carry the 1. All right, now we're going to add our hundreds. So we've got 500, 700, and a 100. So we say 5 plus 7 is 12, plus 1 more is 13, which is actually 1,300. So the 300 goes in the hundreds place, and the 1 gets carried over to the thousands. So we're going to add our 3,000 plus our 1,000, and we get 4. We're going to put our comma to separate our units from our thousands. So we're going to do the same exact thing here. The only difference is on this one, you're going to notice that we have decimals. Okay? So let's go ahead and start adding our hundredths place. These are hundredths. So we're going to say 5 hundredths plus 6 hundredths equals 11. So we put our 1 there. We're going to carry our 1 over to the tenths column. So now let's add our tenths, because we have 9 tenths plus 2 tenths equals 11, plus 1 more is 12 tenths. So we put our 12 here, and we carry the 1 over. All right, now we're going to count all up. So now we're going to count up all of our ones, which is 8 ones plus 4 ones is 12, plus 1 more is 13 ones, and we're going to bring the 1 over here. So we have 4 tens and 1 10, which equals 5. So then the last thing you'll want to do is you'll want to bring down your decimal, and the decimal just comes straight down.